the realm of glimmering shadows. Tobian and Nivara had barely left the echoes of the watery realm behind when they sensed a shift in the air once more. The crystal blue skies above dimmed, replaced by a twilight glow that bathed the landscape in eerie shades of purple and silver. Shadows stretched unnaturally long, and the faint hum of distant, hidden magic filled the air. They had arrived at the realm of glimmering shadows. As they stood at the threshold of this mysterious place, Nivara felt the familiar tingle of transformation. She smiled at Tobian, her teal hair already beginning to darken as the magic of the shadows called to her. The shadows have stories to tell. It seems I must become one with them. Tobian watched, captivated, as Nivara's form changed again. Her once aquatic appearance began to shimmer and shift, as if touched by the essence of twilight itself. Her hair turned a deep, inky black, streaked with soft silver, mimicking the night sky pierced by distant stars. Her skin took on a faintly luminescent quality, glowing softly like the moon hidden behind veils of mist. Her gown morphed into a flowing robe of dark, translucent fabric that shimmered with faint glimmers of light as she moved, like shadows dancing with flecks of starlight. Her eyes glowed faintly, a deep violet that seemed to pierce through the darkness. Nivara had become the spirit of glimmering shadows, embodying the delicate balance between light and dark, and the secrets that lived in between. This realm is filled with magic hiding just beyond sight, Nivara whispered, her voice soft but filled with certainty. Shadows reveal what the light cannot. Together, they stepped into the heart of the realm of glimmering shadows. Strange, ethereal trees, with twisted trunks and shimmering black leaves, lined their path. Shadows flickered and danced along the ground, whispering ancient secrets as they passed. As they ventured deeper, Tobian noticed faint glimmers of light hidden within the shadows. They weren't reflections, but something more, fragments of magic concealed within the darkness. Nivara knelt beside one of the flickering glimmers and reached out. As her fingers touched it, the shadow around it dissipated, revealing a glowing fragment, a shard of some ancient power. "These are pieces of something much larger," she said, her voice thoughtful. "We must find all of them to unlock the realm's secret." The duo continued their journey, following the path of flickering glimmers hidden within the shadows. The deeper they went, the stronger the presence of magic became. Strange creatures, made entirely of shadow and light, moved gracefully around them, observing but never approaching. At last, they arrived at the heart of the realm, a massive, ancient structure made of smooth, black stone, shimmering faintly with magical light. The air here was thick with power, and at the center of the structure was a towering obelisk. It pulsed with the same glimmering light they had seen along the way, its surface etched with runes that seemed to twist and change, as though they were alive. Tobian stepped forward, examining the obelisk. "This must be what the fragments are meant to unlock," he said. "But the magic here is powerful. We'll need to attune the fragments to the obelisk." Nivara, now fully in tune with the realm's magic, stepped forward. She raised the fragments she had collected, and with a soft word, they began to glow brightly. One by one, she placed them into the grooves of the obelisk. As each fragment slid into place, the runes glowed brighter, their patterns stabilizing into a cohesive shape. When the last fragment was in place, the obelisk pulsed with a brilliant flash of light, and the shadows around them seemed to come alive, swirling into a vortex of magic. The air hummed with energy, and the glimmering shadows formed into a shape, a spectral figure, tall and robed in shimmering black, its eyes glowing with the same violet light that now filled Nivara's. "I am the keeper of glimmering shadows," the figure said, its voice resonating through the air. "You have proven yourself worthy of the realm's power. What you seek lies within the shadows, find it, and the balance will be restored. The spectral figure gestured toward the obelisk, and a compartment at its base opened, revealing a glowing crystal, a pulsating, shifting mass of shadow and light intertwined. It was the heart of glimmering shadows, an artifact of immense power capable of controlling the balance between light and darkness. Nivara stepped forward, her hand hovering over the heart. As she touched it, the shadows swirled around her, filling her with their magic. Her eyes glowed brighter, and for a moment, the shadows and light seemed to dance around her, attuning to her spirit. With the heart of glimmering shadows in her grasp, Nivara turned to Tobian, her voice soft yet filled with power. This realm has gifted us its secrets. The balance between light and dark is delicate, but we now hold the key to it. Tobian smiled at her, filled with admiration. Your connection to this place is incredible. With this, we'll be able to face whatever lies ahead. As they prepared to leave the realm, the Keeper of Glimmering Shadows gave them one final message. Beware the realm where shadows and light blend into one. There, the true test of balance will await you. The realm around them began to fade, the glimmers of light slowly winking out as the path back to their world appeared. With the heart of glimmering shadows in their possession, they knew their journey would only grow more complex, and the balance they now held would soon be tested in ways they could not yet foresee. But with Nivara by his side, ever-changing and ever-powerful, Tobian felt ready for whatever lay ahead. The next chapter of their adventure beckoned, and they stepped forward into the unknown once more. The Isle of Eternal Storms. After their encounter in the realm of glimmering shadows, Tobian and Nivara found themselves transported to a new land. The air crackled with tension, and overhead, dark storm clouds swirled endlessly. This was the Isle of Eternal Storms, a place where lightning ruled and the sky never cleared. As they stood on the rocky shores, Nivara closed her eyes, sensing the wild magic of the island calling to her. The storms were alive with ancient energy, and she knew it was time to change once more. This island holds the power of the storm. I must become one with its fury. Her form shimmered, and with a brilliant flash of lightning, Nivara's transformation began. Her hair turned a stormy silver, streaked with flashes of electric blue, and her eyes glowed with the intensity of lightning. Her skin became as pale as the clouds above, with faint veins of light running beneath the surface. Her robe morphed into a flowing gown of storm-grey fabric, crackling with tiny sparks of electricity, as if she had become a living storm. Nivara had become the spirit of the storm, embodying the raw, untamed power of lightning and thunder. The storm is our guide now, Nivara said, her voice carrying the rumble of distant thunder. We must harness its power to find what this island hides. Together, they ventured into the heart of the Isle of Eternal Storms. The landscape was rugged, with jagged cliffs and towering peaks that were constantly lashed by wind and rain. Lightning flashed in the sky every few moments, illuminating the path ahead in brief, brilliant bursts. Tobian held onto his staff tightly, feeling the raw magic of the island course through him. This place feels alive, like the storm itself is watching us. It is, Nivara replied, her voice calm despite the chaos around them. The storm has a will of its own. We must prove ourselves worthy of its power. As they climbed higher, the storm grew fiercer. Thunder roared overhead, and the wind whipped around them with increasing intensity. But Nivara, now attuned to the storm, moved with ease, guiding Tobian through the tempest. At last, they reached the summit of a towering peak, where a massive stone altar stood, crackling with lightning. Above it, swirling storm clouds formed the shape of a great serpent, coiled around the sky. This was the Serpent of the Storm, the ancient guardian of the island's power. "We've come to seek the heart of the storm," Tobian called out, raising his staff toward the serpent. The storm serpent's eyes glowed with a brilliant blue light, and its voice echoed like thunder. "Only those who can withstand the storm may claim its heart. Prove your strength, and the power of the storm will be yours." With that, the serpent unleashed a massive bolt of lightning, striking the ground near them. The test had begun. Nivara raised her arms, summoning the storm's power. Lightning crackled around her, forming a protective shield as more bolts rained down from the sky. "The storm cannot break us," she said, her voice filled with the power of the storm. Tobian, focusing his magic, used his staff to deflect the bolts that came toward him. Together, they stood strong against the onslaught, weathering the storm's fury. As they held their ground, the serpent's eyes narrowed in approval. "Enough," the serpent rumbled. "You have proven your strength and your bond with the storm. The heart of the storm is yours." The serpent coiled around the altar, and a glowing orb of pure lightning energy appeared in its mouth. It descended slowly, placing the orb on the stone altar. The orb pulsed with immense power, the essence of the storm contained within. Nivara stepped forward, reaching out to the heart of the storm. As her fingers touched the orb, lightning surged through her, and for a moment, her entire form glowed with electric energy. The storm around them quieted, as if recognizing her mastery over its power. With the heart of the storm in their possession, the sky began to clear, and the winds calmed. The storm had given its blessing. Tobian looked at Nivara with admiration. "You've mastered the storm, Nivara. With this power, we'll be able to face whatever challenges come next." Nivara smiled, her stormy appearance still crackling with energy. "The storm has granted us its strength. But we must be cautious. The power of the storm is not easily controlled." As they descended from the peak, the serpent of the storm watched them, its glowing eyes filled with ancient wisdom. "Beware the calm after the storm," it warned. "For the true test of power comes in the stillness." With the heart of the storm in hand and the storm's power now flowing through them, Tobian and Nivara knew their journey was far from over. The Isle of Eternal Storms had tested their strength, but greater challenges awaited on the horizon. With the sky now clear and the storm behind them, they set out once more, ready for the next adventure that lay ahead. The realm of celestial tides. After mastering the storm's fury and claiming the heart of the storm, Tobian and Nivara continued their journey, drawn to a distant land where the sky seemed to blend with the sea. The realm of celestial tides was a place where the ocean touched the stars, and the tides carried the whispers of ancient magic. As they stood on the shore, the horizon shimmered with an ethereal glow. The water glowed a deep, celestial blue, reflecting the stars above as if the ocean and sky were one. Nivara sensed the powerful ebb and flow of magic in the air, and she knew the tides were calling to her. "It's time again," she whispered, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "I feel the pull of the tides." Tobian nodded, watching as Nivara's form began to shift once more. Her hair turned a deep, iridescent blue, shimmering like the surface of the ocean under a starry sky. Her skin took on a luminous quality, glowing faintly like moonlight reflecting on water. Her eyes transformed into the color of the midnight sea, filled with the mystery of the depths. Her gown became a flowing, translucent robe, with patterns resembling the swirling tides, adorned with seashells and tiny, glowing pearls. Nivara had become the spirit of the celestial tides, embodying the ancient and mystical connection between the ocean and the stars. "The tides carry the memories of the universe," she said softly, her voice like the gentle lapping of waves. We must follow their rhythm to uncover the secrets of this realm. Together, they waded into the shimmering water. The moment they stepped into the ocean, they were weightless, as if the tides had lifted them into the sky. Stars glittered around them, and they found themselves not walking through water, but floating through a sea of light. The celestial tides carry the dreams of the ancients, Tobian murmured, mesmerized by the surreal beauty of their surroundings. We must listen closely. As they drifted along, Nivara reached out with her newfound connection to the tides, guiding them toward a distant island that glowed with an otherworldly light. The island appeared to float between sea and sky, its shores made of sparkling stardust, and its trees glowing with celestial energy. At the center of the island stood an ancient temple, built from smooth, pearlescent stones. The temple seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the tides, its walls covered in intricate carvings depicting the cycles of the moon, stars, and ocean. It was the temple of the celestial tide, a place where the ocean's magic intertwined with the cosmos. This is where the magic of the tides is strongest, Nivara said, her voice filled with awe. But we must unlock the temple's heart to gain its power. As they approached the entrance, a soft voice echoed through the air, as if carried on the wind. Only those who understand the balance of the tides may enter. The tides give, and the tides take, find the equilibrium, or be lost to the depths. Before them, the entrance to the temple was sealed by a barrier of shimmering water, constantly shifting and changing. It was as if the tides themselves guarded the way inside. We must find the right moment, Tobian said, his eyes narrowing as he studied the barrier. The tides are ever changing, but there's a pattern to them. We need to move in harmony with the flow. Nivara closed her eyes, feeling the pulse of the tides through her entire being. She raised her hand, and with a graceful motion, she began to guide the water, moving in sync with its ebb and flow. The barrier shimmered and parted, revealing the entrance to the temple. Inside, the temple was filled with the sound of gently crashing waves, though no water was present. The walls were covered in glowing symbols, telling the story of the stars and the sea. At the center of the chamber was a large, glowing pool, its water reflecting the constellations above. The heart of the tides lies within that pool, Nivara said, stepping closer. But it is guarded by the ancient forces of the ocean. We must be cautious. As they approached, the water in the pool began to ripple, and from its depths emerged 3 celestial guardians, ethereal beings made of water and starlight, their forms shifting like the tides. They were the protectors of the temple, and they would not allow anyone to claim the power of the tides without a test. The first guardian raised its arms, and the water around them surged upward, creating a swirling vortex that threatened to pull them in. We must move with the flow, not against it, Nivara said, stepping forward with confidence. She danced with the tides, her movements fluid and graceful, and the vortex calmed, recognizing her mastery over the water. The second guardian summoned beams of starlight that shot toward them like arrows. Tobian raised his staff, creating a shield of magic, deflecting the beams with precision. The light of the stars can be guided, but never controlled, he said, weaving through the attacks. The final guardian stepped forward, its form shifting to resemble the constellations themselves. It pointed toward the pool, where the reflection of the stars began to distort, creating a confusing maze of light and water. This is a test of perception, Nivara whispered. We must trust the tides to guide us. Together, they followed the ever-shifting reflections, moving in harmony with the celestial rhythm. At last, they reached the center of the pool, where a glowing, crystalline orb floated just above the water's surface, the heart of the celestial tides. Nivara reached out and touched the orb, and as she did, the entire temple filled with a brilliant light. The power of the tides surged through her, connecting her to the ancient magic of the ocean and stars. The guardians bowed in recognition, their task complete. With the heart of the celestial tides now in their possession, Nivara and Tobian had unlocked the power of both the sea and sky. The island seemed to shimmer with newfound energy, as if the tides themselves were blessing their journey. As they left the temple, the ocean and stars around them sparkled even brighter. The realm had accepted them, and they were now its chosen protectors. "We've gained the power of the tides," Tobian said with a smile. "But there's still so much more to discover." Nivara, her form still glowing with the light of the stars, nodded. "The tides will carry us forward. And wherever they take us, new adventures await."